Recently, YouTube Vanced, a fairly popular third-party YouTube app, was shut down, and at the time, I made a video on that. But when I made that video, there wasn't really that much public information to go by, so the reason for why it happened was basically just speculation based on that information. All the Vanced team was saying was they received a cease and desist for legal reasons, and legal reasons isn't that great of an explanation. But the Vanced team has released this write-up explaining the actual reason why they were shut down. I don't believe they posted this over on their Twitter unless that's changed since the recording, but this can be found over on their Telegram. One thing I want to point out is please excuse the grammar and the spelling mistakes in this write-up. It's pretty obvious that whoever wrote this doesn't have English as a first language, so when there are places where it doesn't really make any sense, we're going to focus less on the specific words that are being said and more on the meaning it's trying to convey. So because we initially had very little to go by, there is a bunch of theories for why Vanced was shut down, and most of the write-up is focused on that. The first one being the NFT theory. Basically, Vanced created an NFT of their logo. At the time, this was their logo. Basically just the YouTube logo with a gradient and some extra lines, but this is very similar to the YouTube logo, and they had the listing with YouTube in its name. Now, they didn't end up actually selling the NFT, but it was minted. And besides, it was done as a joke and nothing more. Now, making something a joke does not take away the legal responsibilities that you have. Making an NFT of a logo that you basically don't own and using a name that you definitely don't own, that puts you into some legal hot water. I don't really buy this argument, but they're saying it's not the reason. Also, they never asked for donations and had no motive to make money out of the project. Now, this last bit is a little bit disingenuous. The no donations thing, fine, they didn't ask for donations. But they did, for the last 2 years, have a Brave browser and AdGuard referral link on their website. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong to make money from this project, I'll leave that judgment up to you guys. But if you have these referral links, you can't really say you had no motive to make any money. Unless the only money that you are keeping is money that is paying for the infrastructure costs, so things like your domain, your web hosting, and things like that. And then the rest of the money you pay to YouTube or donate to charity or somewhere that is not you keeping the money. But I do agree, if this was just about making money, Google probably would have done something a couple of years ago. I do think the NFT might have been enough to sort of encourage them to take action, but we'll move on from that. The next theory is the LTT theory, which I thought was ridiculous from the start, and is basically just driven by people who want a reason to hate Linus. Back when Linus made a video about the YouTube dislike extension, which I've talked enough about on this channel, he mentioned that YouTube Vanced ships with the extension. Now, this led some people to believe that because of that video, Vanced suddenly became really popular, and this was what made Google want to take it down. If you ask me whether Vanced was less or more popular after that video, I think we can all agree it was probably going to be more popular. But Linus isn't the reason that people know about Vanced. Vanced has been around for a very, very long time. It was already a really popular app, and it's been continuously growing for years and years now. I think Linus might have had some influence with it getting to that threshold where Google wanted to do something about it, but I don't think you can completely blame Linus. Next, we have to address the piracy question. Is YouTube Vanced a piracy app? And if it is that something that Google will take issue with? Now, I don't think this is as simple as some people are trying to make it out to be. I think you can make an argument for why ad blocking is piracy, but I don't think it's safe to start classifying archival tools like YouTube DL or different sorts of web browsers that just don't have the ability to display ads as piracy. I don't have a set answer on this, and I think anyone who does hasn't thought about the problem enough. But from the perspective of Vanced, they say, first off, what is piracy? In simple terms, any app that has a premium subscription attached to it that is given out for free to the public. I think that is a fair, basic definition. Second, what were the benefits of the YouTube Premium subscription that Vanced has for free? Vanced includes ad blocking, background playback with the picture-in-picture mode, and then some extra Vanced features like swipe controls, control over default video resolution, and other things like that. I don't think that any of this extra Vanced stuff that has nothing to do with YouTube Premium really has anything to do with the discussion. If you were to put those into an extension in a web browser, I don't think you're circumventing anything in YouTube by having swipe controls or default video resolutions. I feel the same way about background playback as well. While they may lock it behind a paywall in the app, if you use YouTube in your browser, background playback is just an expected feature. But like with the whole making any money whatsoever, I do agree that if shipping an app with ad blocking or ad blocking in general was the issue, the app probably would have been dealt with a couple of years ago. They also say the YouTube TOS doesn't mention ad blocking as being a violation. Now, from what I have read of the TOS, that seems to be the case, but I don't understand every single line of it. If someone happens to have a better understanding of the TOS, I would love to hear if it is or if it isn't. Now, I haven't seen this one personally, but some people think that devs reside in Russia, and that's the reason they received a cease and desist. Now, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but they say that none of the devs on the project reside in Russia or Ukraine, so I don't know where people got that information from. Now, there are third-party mods of YouTube Vanced, which is a third-party mod of the YouTube app, which includes a video downloader feature. Now, the main Vanced app does not have this functionality, so people are going around saying that this is the reason why the app was taken down, but the app doesn't actually have this functionality whatsoever. But when they say the only feature that is considered illegal is the YouTube downloader feature, that doesn't actually make much sense, because the existence of YouTube Vanced is violating the YouTube TOS. Now, while ad blocking may not be specifically mentioned, when it comes to modifying the app, that one is. So you are not allowed to alter or modify any part of the service or any content without express permission from the service or written permission from YouTube or the respective rights holders. And if ad blocking is covered under anything, it would be this point right here, or the following point: you are not allowed to circumvent, disable, fraudulently engage with, or otherwise interfere with any part of the service, or attempt to do any of these things, including security-related features or features that A, prevent or restrict the copying or other use of content, or B, limit the use of the service or content. So with all that out of the way, what is the actual reason YouTube Vanced was shut down? Well, from Vanced themselves, they say legal reasons. Once again, using the legal reasons, but there actually is an explanation this time. Using the YouTube logo and the YouTube branding, so using the YouTube name. How anybody thought using the YouTube logo and calling yourselves YouTube was a good idea is absolutely beyond me. There is a reason why apps like, say, NewPipe don't have a logo that looks anything like YouTube's and are called NewPipe, not YouTube NewPipe, or something like Invidious. The exact same. You never ever use the logo and a name of a company that has billions of dollars. Terrible idea. And following this, they were asked to remove all links to distribute the Vanced app. Now, this explanation, it's a fine explanation, but it doesn't add up. Firstly, following the cease and desist, they are no longer YouTube Vanced, and they no longer use the same logo. They're now just Vanced. This is very clearly a different logo as well. But this shares the exact same problem with making money through the affiliate links and also the ad blocking stuff. If this is the reason, why is YouTube acting now? They've been using that logo for a very long time, and they have always been called YouTube Vanced. So why is YouTube Vanced now an issue? I think without a doubt the logo and the branding played some bit of a part, but I don't think it's the only reason. I think the NFT, I think the growth in the app, I think the ad blocking, maybe even the background playback, the affiliate links, and all of this stuff coming together, this is the reason why Google finally acted. When you want to send a cease and desist, this isn't free to do. You want to go through your legal team, you have to go and pay them money, and it has to get to the point where the amount of money that you're losing from the app existing is worth it to go and pay that legal team to go and write up that letter. And I think it got to the point where Google is saying, you know what, this doesn't need to exist anymore, and then finally sent out the letter. Now, they've said before they are not releasing the source code for YouTube Vanced, and the reason for that is because doing so would cause serious implications for us. It's very likely that a part of that cease and desist is if you release the source code, we are taking you to court and we will destroy you. So, yeah, that's not going to go public. But they did release some SHA signatures, so if you go and download an app from a third-party location, you can confirm that the app actually is the app. So do you think Vanced is being honest here, or do you think there is a lot more to why they were shut down than they are letting on? I would love to know. So if you like this video, I'm going to go and like the video, and if you really like the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, go check out my Patreon subscribe, simply bearer pay, link in the description down below. I've got a podcast called Tech Over Tea, available basically anywhere. I've got a gaming channel called Brodie Robertson Plays. That's going to be it for me, and I'm out.